Okay, hello, and welcome back to the Kindred Kitchen. My name is Pam, and V is behind the camera.
Hello.
If you haven't met us already. And we are still working with our 25 days of Christmas. And today we want to give you just a peek at some of a meal prep that we do and some ideas behind it. Now, before we get started, I want you to go down below and hit that little subscribe button, and the notification bell will let you know that every time that we come up with a new video. So go do that and then come back here and we'll get started with the recipe. All right, so today we are going to talk about batch cooking a little bit, and we're going to show you how to turn one batch cooking up of vegetables into 3 different meals for your family or for yourself, for lunches, for dinners. We're going to turn, let me show you what we've got here. We've got a ½ pound of cut up green beans. We've got 3 red bell peppers. We have a yellow bell pepper. We have an orange bell pepper. We have 3 green bell peppers. We have 4 small onions, or you could use 2 really large onions. And then we have a head of broccoli. And we're gonna batch cook this up, and then we're gonna use it over the next 3 days for our lunches. We're gonna do one as a taco flavored, and we're gonna pair that up with a potato, and we're gonna have our very own potaco. I've been waiting a week to say that, potaco. Doesn't that just sound like it should be a word? And then we're also going to give it more of an Asian flair and serve it up with some rice. And then we're going to do an Italian dish and serve it over polenta. And we'll show you how that goes. But first, let's head on over to the stove and we'll get these vegetables cooking. Okay, so this pan is preheating, and I am going to throw in the onion and the bell peppers and the green beans first. They take a little bit more time to cook, but we chop them up small so that they would cook relatively quickly, so that you wouldn't be spending all day in the kitchen. You know, in a ½ an hour you can have this done. And then just divide it up in your refrigerator and it'll be ready for 3 different meals. And if you have a larger family, add more. And you can add whatever vegetables you like to this dish. You know, if you want to add some zucchini, I think that would go well in this dish, or yellow squash. Add a few more bell peppers, add some more green beans, and you increase the size. Now I have my water sitting here and my tablespoon, so if I notice that, you know, they're starting to need that extra little bit of water to cook, I will add it. But sometimes vegetables have enough of their own liquid that once they start getting hot, that liquid just releases and they cook. So I'm going to stir this up really good. I'm not going to season it yet, if you've noticed that. See, get my onions apart a little bit here. What I'm going to do is put a cover on this. I'm going to leave it on a medium to a medium-high heat. I'm going to check it every few minutes, and then in about 5 to 10 minutes, we will be back. And I added absolutely no water to this. I mean, this is just the liquid from the vegetables, so no water was needed at all. Aren't they looking delicious? And they are pretty well cooked. I'm going to add the broccoli in here, stir it up. So let me add the broccoli. And see, we have a whole pot of vegetables that we can do whatever we want with. Yeah, and you'll see. But let me add the broccoli in here for just a couple minutes. I'm going to cover it back up and let these steam. They'll basically be steaming in their own juices. And then we will be back. All right, so I let it cook for, I think, about 10 minutes for the bell peppers and the green beans and everything, and then another 5 minutes probably for the broccoli. But I checked the broccoli, it's done, everything's done. So this is for 3 days for us for lunch. So I'm going to do my best to scoop some out here. And then we're going to take it over and season it for today. So I think that's about a third, maybe a little bit less. Let me take a little bit more. Don't they? So holiday fresh, right?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me get a spoon or something. All right, so now we are going to season this for our kind of taco flavor, taco inspired flavor. And this is our taco seasoning, and I'll put the link down below for that. And I've got 2 teaspoons here to start with, and I'm just going to mix that up. Because like I said, this is for just me and V, so it's only the 2 of us. And there is a little salt in the taco seasoning, but I think I am going to add
because
just a little bit more.
I usually add half the amount that we put on there, just because, you know.
So I'm going to add another half a teaspoon of salt. Although you're running out of salt in your,
my bad.
Just saying. And I'm just going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Mix that up.
I can smell the seasoning since it hit the warm veggies.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add a little bit of nutritional yeast, but instead of putting it on top, I think I am going to, hold on, if I can open it. I think I'm just going to sprinkle it, a little bit of nutritional yeast in here, and mix it in, because I just think that gives it a good flavor. It's just, I don't know, it enhances the flavor. And there we have it. You could put this on like romaine lettuce leaves, you know what I mean? You'd have to have a non-starchy vegetable, a starchy vegetable on the side if you did that. But you could also find some corn tortillas that don't have any fat in them added to them and use it that way.
You can even put it on rice, make it like a taco fried rice sort of thingy.
What we're doing is having it with potatoes.
And therefore,
we're having our pataco. Didn't that should be a word. It really should be. A pataco.
Pam has been waiting and waiting to use that word.
Yeah. And so this is for me and V. So I am going to divide up all of this between our 2 plates. You know that we eat what we cook. So this is what we're having for lunch. And you can see it is more than enough food for 2 people. More than enough. We're gonna put a little bit of, this is just a really good salsa. Salsas are easy to find in the grocery store that are without oil, that are really nutritious and good. Don't have a lot of additives other than the vegetables and seasonings. So we're just gonna put a little bit of that on top.
And there you have it.
And there you have it.
A pataco.
A pataco. And then tomorrow we're going to show you what we do with the other, actually it's all going to be in one video, but it'll be our lunch for tomorrow. We're going to show you what we do with the another 1/3 of this dish. Okay, so
welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the pataco.
Woohoo to patacos.
That we made. So I'm B here, if you don't already know, and Pam's behind the camera right now for this segment of the other what we're going to do with the veggies. So you remember the veggies we made, you know, sauteed up the veggies. Now I'm going to take some of that and I'm going to add some seasonings and flavors, and I'm going to make it an Asian version. And I don't have my garlic and ginger chopped, so I'm just going to use garlic powder.
And your brother's visiting, so this will be his lunch.
This is his lunch. So I have my pan going here, and I'm going to put these veggies in, and I'm going to put about 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of garlic powder in this.
And it would be really to your taste. You know, how much
you want to add. And this is just going to give it some of the flavor that I need. And also heat up the vegetables. So perfect time to put that garlic powder in. I can smell it now. So I need the veggies to heat up. And while they're heating up, I'm just going to start adding stuff to it. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper.
So you got about maybe 1/4 teaspoon at the most. Yeah.
And I'm going to add a little bit of, a pinch of salt, not too much. Because I am going to add some tamari to it.
Which does have that salt, you know.
You can add soy sauce if you don't have tamari.
And that looked like about 1 tablespoon to start with anyway.
So just give that a swirl around.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
All those Christmas colors.
And then I'm going to add a little bit of vinegar.
And that was maybe 1.5 teaspoons.
Yeah. It's going to give it that good tang that we need. And I think I'm going to add just a little bit more tamari.
Okay. That looked like about another tablespoon.
Yeah, so 2 tablespoons.
Yep. Oh, I wish people could smell.
It smells really good.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna add a little bit of water in here. I had about 1/4 of a cup, and I added half of that. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna thicken all this up by adding some arrowroot. So you see, you want the water to be boiling. You want the little bubbles. And I am gonna take a tablespoon. I think I'm gonna go with half tablespoon because there's not a lot in here. So
if you were doing more, like a family size, you know, you'd add some more to the arrowroot. But
so I got about half a tablespoon. I'm gonna put it in the rest of my water. Zhuzh it up and throw it down. And there you have it.
Yeah, gotta let it start boiling, and then it'll thicken right up. There it goes.
Yeah, see?
As it gets hot.
Yeah. And there you have it. And then I made some rice, and this will go over some rice, and there you have it. And see,
smells good too.
Yeah. And you know, you have all these veggies on hand. See how easy it was to just make a meal? Super easy, right? Now here you have it. And I'm gonna serve this to him, and he can have or not have however much he wants. And there you have it, a quick and easy Asian stir fry.
All right, so today what we're gonna do is take these vegetables right here, this is what's left, and we are gonna turn this into kind of an Italian flavor and serve it over some polenta, and this is what V and I are gonna be having for lunch today. So I have the leftover, what's left of the vegetables. I have some fresh basil. Honest, that's what it is basil. And this is stuff that we dried. V had a plant of basil this summer. We dried these, so this is our fresh basil, and oh my gosh, when it's fresh, seriously, it smells so good. We have, this is the Trader Joe's pasta sauce, which has no oil in it. We're gonna use probably about a half a jar of that, but really it's up to you how much you use. We've got some Italian seasoning. I'm gonna throw in a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And in the polenta here, I've got a half a cup of polenta, and I've got a cup and a half of water. And then I have a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast we're gonna throw in just to give it a little bit of flavor that I guess is like, well, here in the South, it's cheesy, you know, the cheesy grits and stuff. So that gives it just a little bit of that flavor. So let's take it all over to the range here, and we're going to start. So my pan is heating up. Let's go ahead and get the vegetables warming. So I'm gonna throw all these veggies in here. I don't want them to spill out. And we're gonna start this warming up, heating up. You know, and if you're in a pinch for time, you can always stick these in the microwave, you know, to warm them up. So let's get this distributed.
Look at all those colors.
I know.
I just can't get over the colors.
So beautiful. Let's get that going. I am going to cover this up and let them start really warming up before I add my seasonings, and let's get our polenta going. This was heating up. I'm going to add in my polenta. Half a cup, cup and a half of water. Let me give it a quick stir here, really quick. And then I'm gonna put this on the heat and cover it up and let it come up to a boil. And then once it's boiling, we'll turn it back to a simmer, and that won't take very long to thicken up and cook. So we're gonna get that going. Let me move that handle out of my way. Okay, this is doing well. Ah, yeah, now I can hear it. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna add my seasonings. Ooh, I can smell it too. It smells so good. I'm going to add a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. If I can get it out of the jar here. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of this fresh basil. I just love fresh basil. Basil is one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add a tablespoon of fresh basil in there. Debating whether I want a little more. I think
you probably do.
Okay, so we're going to add another half a tablespoon. And this is fresh dried. This is fresh dried basil, I should say. It's not fresh, it's fresh dried. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. So I will add maybe a teaspoon of salt in here. And I'm not going to add much pepper, so just a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper.
And you can use chili flakes in this too,
if you want it spicier, but you know me.
Yum, yum,
Spice is not my thing. V's the spicy one. We're going to give this a stir. I'm going to cover it up just for a couple more minutes because our vegetables were cold, and let them, you know, just get together with all these herbs and warm up thoroughly. And then we will be back in a few minutes to finish this off. All right, the vegetables are all nice and hot. Ooh, they smell good. They do have that.
Yeah, I can smell the
great
herbs.
smell. So I'll tell you how much of a jar we put in just a second. I don't want a lot, but I do want a little bit of that tomato flavor, and this is a quick, easy way to do it without adding any oil. So let me put in just a little bit more. Yeah, so this is about 1/3 to 1/2 of a jar, but by all means, I think you should, you know, do what suits you. If you don't want that tomato flavor, you could totally leave it out because these vegetables smell really good. Now I am going to cover them, let that come back up to a boil. And this so the sauce is all hot because the sauce was cold going in.
And this is kind of like a quick version of the Italian veggies over polenta that we did.
Yep, not quite as much of a variety in veggies. Our polenta is looking good. It's got a little bit longer to cook. I'm going to turn it up just a little so it's more of a simmer, and I think in about 5 minutes we will be eating. So we will be back. Okay, so we are done. See, here is our polenta. And if you want this to be really firm, what you do is put this in a mold, like a loaf pan or something, and put it in the refrigerator, and tomorrow it will be like firm. I'm gonna add my nutritional yeast right in here and stir that up. Hang on, it take me a minute here to get it all mixed in. And our vegetables are all done. And if you don't like nutritional yeast, by all means, you know, keep it out. Yeah. You don't have to put that in there. And so I am going to plate this up. I'm going to put my polenta on the bottom here. And then we are going to, let me scoot this over so I don't have so far to drip, you know. I'm going to put the veggies on top. There. I'm going to be able to see that nutritional yeast out the bottom. And there we have it. Doesn't that look amazing?
That's really good.
Oh,
smells even better too.
I know. And we are excited to eat lunch. So I hope you enjoyed this. This just shows you that you can take some simple vegetables, cook them up, and have it 3 different ways during the week. So you're not having the exact same meal every day, but you can save time and save energy by batch cooking some of these things and then just using them throughout the week. This is how we do it. This is how we stay on track. So we hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure you give us a thumbs up down below, and then go on over to kindredvegans.com and sign up for your newsletter where we have more recipes and more tips and tricks and how we're losing weight on a whole food plant-based diet. All right, this sums it up for the 3-in-1 video. Make sure you come back tomorrow for another great recipe in our 25 days of Christmas. Bye for now.